Here's the thing. We're a team of thieves. And when you do this, you're bound to make enemies. Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge.
What's his deal?
I got a problem with authority.
You just need to chill out. You ready for this?
Come on, man. Guns, murderers, and crooked cops. I was made for this, bruh.
Be the rock! Come and get it, lizard breath!
Now, they must rescue the princess.
Luigi!
Alien species escaping. And make it safely back.
Later, alligator.
To our world.
Are you alright?
Before time runs out.
Shoot him!
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you. Hello, and welcome to another Organized Chaos podcast, the most perfect and seamless podcast ever, known far and wide for its absolute lack of technical issues. Just perfection.
Yeah, we're one taken in the can here.
Yeah, we're doing great, yeah. Every time. It's not like I just forgot to unmute my microphone and restart it. We're fine.
No, not at all.
Joining me is Bobby. How you doing, Bobby?
I'm not doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, and you know what? I need to get into the habit of this. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure to visit Bobby Quarters. Check out his stuff. It's great. Make sure to subscribe. Check out Organized Chaos. Make sure to subscribe. It's all great stuff. All great stuff.
Yeah.
We should do that at the beginning of every episode, except
do.
I'm terrible at it.
I'm bad at remembering that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like what we talk about and you like what you see on YouTube, give us a like. Give the video a like.
Yeah.
That really does help us out. And we are very appreciative of all of you who do that. Even the ones who just watch us every week and they hit that bell so they know when it comes up. That helps us, and we love you so much.
Yeah.
Even the ones who watch and don't subscribe. If you want your experience to be even more enriched, just hit the sub button.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a simple thing that helps us out. And yeah, if you're just like this is where you go to if you just want people to talk about like movies and not like give you a lecture about wokeness. That's and I think that's a rare thing on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, I think like rarely we get on soapboxes, but like I feel that when we get on them, they're for a good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, this week we are going to be covering the new Dungeons & Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves. We will see if it was any better than last week's entry. Do we know that yet? Do we know?
Yes.
That's true. I have juicy shits that are better than the last one. But
I've seen better like YouTube shorts than last week's.
Yeah, well, at least YouTube shorts are over in 60 seconds, even if it's bad. Last week it just kept on going. And last week, that movie is so much shorter than this one, and like it doesn't feel it. That was a chore last week. But don't worry, we have some chores coming up this week too. We have Too Fast, Too Furious, the epic second entry in the we don't know how to title these movies franchise. And
Probably, but yes.
Following up with Super Mario Bros. It's not called Super Mario Brothers. It's called Super Mario Bros. That's the official title from 1993. Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper definitely got paid for this movie, so, it was worth something, I guess. But are we ready to roll right into news?
Yeah, let's get into the news.
Yeah. Well, there was a search indictment. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if it really made the news rounds or anything, but I don't know. Have you heard of this guy?
It's the
Donald J. Trump? I don't know.
Yeah,
Has this guy ever been in the news before?
I've heard of the slippery chip.
Okay.
I've heard
okay.
of the Slippery Ship.
Oh, that's right. He was the host of Celebrity Apprentice, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
also, he had those late night infomercials for the steaks, the
Oh,
water, and then the university, and some other thing that failed. I can't remember.
oh, he was the star of Home Alone too.
He cameoed in.
Yeah, no, that was a big cameo. Yeah,
that is
that.
Rob Schneider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rob
I get
Schneider
confused.
is the star of Home Alone too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
it's okay.
confused. No, honestly, 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump, got indicted. And I kind of love the indictment. Yeah. He was indicted for using campaign funds to pay hush money to a porn star that he had sex with. And what I kind of love about this is that, like, literally, if he had just taken the cash out of his account and paid her from that, we wouldn't be hearing about this. Instead, the dipshit took it from campaign finances and probably did a tax write-off on it.
Yeah, so he probably lied on his taxes too.
Yeah.
Which is probably not the first time either.
No, but it's kind of hilarious.
Well, what's interesting enough is there's a lot of outlets who are saying that this is the first time that a president has ever been brought up on criminal charges, and it's not actually the first.
Mm-hmm.
The first actually was Ulysses S. Grant for pretty much drunk operation of a horse in the D.C. area, but not quite like this, but still. No. I thought that was interesting.
At least he was drunk then. I mean,
to an officer who had already given him a warning. Well, he was arrested also by an officer who already gave him a warning.
Oh, jeez.
Because I'm not going to arrest the leader of the free world.
Well, no, it's like literally.
Yes,
like
Donald Trump is getting indicted.
He just had to cash it out, and they wouldn't have him, but he had to take it from fucking campaign finances, which I guess, technically, since it's gonna hurt your campaign, I guess you could do that as a tax write-off, but maybe, I don't know, when you're paying hush money, maybe don't tax write-off that one. I don't know. I'm just being crazy. I don't know. Oh, it's kind of hilarious. But yeah.
I agree, it is.
It's like he's so dumb. He can't even do this shit properly. It's like, hey, maybe when you're doing the seedy shit, maybe hide it better. Maybe I don't know. Don't put it on your taxes. Don't draw it from campaign finances. He's a special boy. Were you looking up something on it?
No, I was making sure I had my stuff ready for Mario.
Oh, well, Mario's important, but we got a little bit left.
The part that I need.
Yeah, but well, are we ready to get into Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah. Let's talk about it since it's still very fresh in my mind.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I saw this Friday night. I'm not gonna lie. Like the first couple of trailers of this, I thought were fun, and then the later trailers I wasn't thrilled with, but. The later trailers did like weird voiceover stuff and talk about reviews. It was like stuff you can do for TV spots, but like it didn't fit right for a trailer. But I was like, maybe the movie will still be fine because, you know, that's the type of thing that's strictly trailer stuff. But I am scared going into this because, you know, there was a Dungeons and Dragons movie that we saw last week that was very, very bad.
Yeah, but there's only really one way to go from there.
That is true.
Only one way to go.
If this movie was worse than that one, that would actually be an accomplishment. Just like, wow. Just absolute fucking accomplishment. And it's not even close. I actually enjoyed this quite a bit.
I actually enjoyed it too. It was much better than last week's.
No, not even close.
Actually, I did enjoy it because it kind of it took more of a chance to dive into the lore of D&D, and that's kind of what I liked the most about it.
Oh yeah, no, and there's like
even being not too familiar with it.
Well, yeah, I mean
D&D in general. So
I mean, you know, they obviously play with the lore, like they mentioned Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter, which are some of the more famous games that are based in D&D. rules and stuff like that. But obviously you got your main group of heroes, which is a bard, a barbarian, a wizard, and a druid, and that's a nice combo. And there's lots of little details they play with that I thought was fun. Obviously, your main character is Chris Pine. He's your bard, and he obviously is dumping lots of points into his charisma set. But later on, they also meet a paladin who very much is not putting points into charisma. He's a good warrior and he's a nice guy, but he's not very sociable.
No.
But I just like that they actually take details into that. And if you don't know what they're doing that, it's still entertaining. But when you know they're doing that, it's like, oh, I like that. They're actually playing around with the idea that this is actually kind of like D&D. Overall, I like this. Yeah. I will say, probably for the first 2 acts, I was enjoying it. I thought it was very entertaining. It was a bit exposition heavy, if I was going to throw criticism at it. Lots of stopping and telling a story. But for the most part, I found that entertaining enough. And then, the third act sold me. When the ending, it landed the ending, and I was on board. It's one of those movies, the more I've sat with it over the weekend, the more I've enjoyed it. But, kind of. Where are you at with it, Bobby?
Well, I enjoyed it a lot more than last week's. I will agree that it was very, very exposition heavy. Mm-hmm. That is probably the only real criticism I have for it. I don't know. I kind of think the runtime was stretched a little bit. If they would have cut out a lot of the exposition, I don't think we would have had the 2-hour runtime. But I'm also of the opinion that if you could tell the story in less than 2 hours, you don't need to make your movie 2 hours.
True. Oh. Like I said, I don't know how much the exposition I feel was really wasted, but but yeah, it is heavy.
Well, none of it was. They made it work with it,
yeah.
But yeah. The scenery in it, just the filming locations and where they were filming, that was, to me, the coolest part of it.
Yeah.
A lot of those big, wide landscape nuts, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
No, it actually...
I didn't feel like the humor was, too forced. It was very natural, very fluid. I
will say it felt like it may be a bit too intense with the humor, but yeah, it doesn't feel forced per se. It just there's a lot of it, and it works, but it's definitely on the precipice where I felt it could have definitely gone a joke or two more and went overboard. But it's it holds it back just enough essentially. So I'm not gonna slam it for that, but it's pushing it. But yeah, overall it's very entertaining. I think obviously you got your 4 main characters. I actually even though I saw Hugh Grant in the trailer, I didn't realize his role would be as prominent as it is. He's basically the second villain.
No.
Yeah. He is he's introduced very early on, and he's a piece of crap. Hugh looked like he was having a little bit too much fun playing the bad guy. Yeah. But it works for him,
parts, but,
he's obviously a villain who puts a lot of points in charisma as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, like I said, I really enjoyed this. There's one big question I had after watching this, and I keep on forgetting, so I guess it's a point in the movie's favor. But there's this point where they're stuck in this cave with this dragon, and the cave is filling up with water, and then they start this explosion, and then they're on a beach. I'm a little I feel like there's something missing from that. Do you remember that?
The lay of the land sort of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just remember that.
The lay of the land, yeah.
When did we get here? Yeah.
Is if the cave was near a coastal region or a beach.
Yeah.
And that part of the cave happened to go under where the ocean water is.
Mm-hmm.
And they just washed ashore. That's about the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Maybe a shot or two where you see... Maybe a shot or two where we see the explosion knock out the back wall of the cave and then they flow out into the ocean. I'm not sure. It definitely feels like we're in a cave, there's an explosion, and then we're underwater in the ocean going up on a beach. It's like, how do we get here?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I enjoyed this. The more I think about it, I liked it. I'm kind of excited to watch it again. Hopefully it sticks. Hopefully I enjoyed it as much the second time. But yeah, this was a fun movie. Definitely better than last week's. Not even close.
Oh, absolutely better than last week's.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about all I wanted to say. Like I thought all the characters did well. I'm usually not even a huge fan of Michelle Rodriguez, but I thought she worked as Barbarian here. Yeah, I was happy with this.
Yeah, I have no complaints. I'm usually kind of 50-50 with Pine, but he was good in this.
Mm-hmm. You see, I like Chris Pine, but yeah, he definitely worked here. You know, obviously he's supposed to be the good guy scoundrel type. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, he if they ever were to do something as monstrous as remake The Princess Bride, I would be okay with him being the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that, but unless you have a really creative idea, don't. I get sick of doing remakes unless you have a good idea on how to do it creatively.
I know.
It's slow.
Well, I would only hope that they cast a pro wrestler to do Andre's part.
Oh, I would hope.
Only my concern.
Yeah, it's gonna be The Rock. It's gonna be the
one that they would probably cast. No, they wouldn't cast him. He's been out of that game for so long. It would probably be John Cena.
I can see that too. But man, it's not gonna be Andre. Andre had a warmth to him that neither one of them can capture. Yeah. But yeah,
no, I think. Yeah, you're going to make me think of a wrestler who probably could pull it off now.
But are you ready for Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yeah, let's talk about that movie.
Yep, this movie. I guess it's not as bad as I remember, but I still didn't really care for it. It's not as good as the first one, which was meh. Yeah. Eva Mendes is
coolest
pretty.
Part was that muscle car jumping.
Yeah.
The coolest part was that muscle car jumping onto that boat. That was coolest. And the garage scene where all the other street cars went out and caused the decoy effect. That was That was cool.
There was some. I mean, there's some fun stuff here, but yeah, this is definitely one of the most forgettable of this franchise. And we're dealing with a franchise that. Like, these are movies that, like, the best one, you find yourself entertained for a couple hours, and then, yeah, even amongst this franchise, this is one of the more forgettable ones. Obviously, we don't have Vin Diesel coming back for this one. And, you know, this is one thing that bugs me, like, especially watching this one. I don't understand how we're at part 10. Watching the first one, I'm like, I don't understand how this is a franchise. Watching this one, I'm still even more confused how not only this one was made, but how this is a franchise. I'm like, how did this happen?
Well, this one, I think they introduced the concept that they've leaned with the rest of them. Now, mind you, this is as far as I've seen them. Everything after this will just be like new movies to me. So, I think this is the first time that they've introduced them working with some form of law enforcement to go after a real bad guy.
Well, I mean, that's I guess the first one definitely did that, but like, yeah, in that one, Brian was part of law enforcement, and here he was just kind of the outsider working with law enforcement, which is definitely the setup for later movies. I also, they're dealing with a much more grounded villain than they deal with later on, because like this is just like evil people in the world of underground racing. It's like, it gets sillier.
Yeah. Evil exists.
Yes. It gets a lot sillier, which it kind of needs to. But like, I mean, we get introduced to Roman Pierce, as played by Tyrese Gibson, and he's essentially like the Dom stand-in, and he's fine. And then we get introduced to Ludacris, who's just kind of Brian's friend, and he I will say he's entertaining. He doesn't have a huge role here, but he's entertaining. I don't have a whole lot to say here. The villain
have a huge role.
Yeah. The villain is kind of generic evil rich white guy. Kind of like the second he walks on screen, it's like, oh, he's a villain.
Look at this piece.
Yeah,
of shit.
like if this guy isn't like he was so villain, I was like, is this perhaps a red herring? I'm misremembering, and then someone else is the villain because he's so fucking over the top villain that it's like, this isn't real, right? And then no, it's real. The movie's not trying to be sneaky. But one thing I do think is interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Go ahead. I was just gonna bring up just something, but I could bring it up after you.
Oh, okay. No, all I was going to add on was essentially, like, this is a franchise known for bringing back characters. And I think it's interesting because this one, the only two returning characters, I believe, are Brian, obviously Paul Walker, and the one cop who works with him, what's his name? Blinsky, something like that. And I believe this is his last appearance in the franchise, too. So he's gone after this one. Oh. But, I just think that's kind of funny. So, that being said, we will see other characters in this movie in other entries in the franchise quite a bit, actually. I guess it ends up doing some world building, although it's obviously not what they're trying for with this. This kind of feels like, hey, the first one made some money. I guess we should do a sequel. Who's willing to come back? Not a whole lot. Okay, we'll just do what we can. And I don't, like, it's not memorable. Like, the first one just comes off as, like Point Break, but not quite as good, but entertaining enough. And this one's kind of like the off-brand next chapter of that, and, less entertained.
Yeah.
I don't, like, you might notice I'm not really saying too much, because I don't have strong feelings, really, one way or the other about this movie. I guess there are moments I enjoyed it, but I don't really like it, but I don't hate it. It just, I watched it, it happened. It's done. I know the franchise gets more entertaining from this point. I know, if I remember correctly, the next one's actually pretty good. As I recall, the next one's pretty entertaining, but this...
Okay.
No strong feelings. It's a movie that exists.
This was okay.
I guess if you're looking to watch the whole franchise and want to get the whole picture, this one does introduce a whole bunch of important characters, so you do need to get introduced to them, I guess, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Of course, the next one has even less returning characters, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah.
I really think that should have been their sign.
Yeah. No, after the third one, it was just like, wow, so they're just gonna do whatever. And then this movie, like, listen, I'm glad Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6 exist, because those ones are fun, but I have no idea how they got there, watching these early movies. I'm like, really? Just really? But I guess it did get there. Sure. Cool. Yeah. I guess there's anything you want to add, because I just don't have much to say about this, other than... Yeah.
Well, it was set in Miami, so like a lot of the set pieces, it looked great, and it gave you kind of like a pseudo feel of what Miami would be like. So, I mean, in the sense of immersion, it was good. Yeah, I really don't got much to say, because I really don't have too many strong feelings towards this franchise.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, even as somebody who overall enjoys the franchise like me, I don't have strong feelings towards it. Like, you know, if people call it a dumb franchise, I'm the first one to agree with them, because like, I enjoy it, but this is dumb. And this one, to a degree, isn't reaching pinnacle dumbness, which is part of the problem for me. Like, it gets better when it gets dumber. This is like, and it feels weird saying that, because there's plenty of dumb stuff in this movie, but it's like, it's not. Yeah. Oh. Meh. If you're interested in watching the entire Fast and Furious franchise, this one's a must-watch because of the characters it introduces. But if you're interested in watching, like, a cool standalone car movie, no. There's literally better movies in this franchise. Almost all of them, with very few exceptions.
Like Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
Like Gone in 60 Seconds.
Well, I haven't seen that one, but probably. I mean, Nicolas Cage by itself.
You haven't?
No.
Well, I mean, it's based off of it's a remake. It's a remake.
Mm-hmm.
There's original, I want to say.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was remake, too. I think most
I'll
people...
look it up right now.
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now.
Ooh. Live research. Well, I guess not live. Previously recorded research.
Film. Oh, yeah, 1974 was the original.
Okay.
It stars H.B. Halicki, who is also the writer and the director.
Famous actor.
Usa. And Jerry... I'm gonna butcher this. Daugirda? Daugirda.
None of that rings a bell. I remember Nicolas Cage and I think Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, that's the remake. The plot of the original is a South American drug lord pays Pace to steal 48 cars for him. All but one is in the bag. Thereby, the police predicate in a desperate car chase. Of Eleanor. Yeah, which is pretty much the same Eleanor as it was in that a Shelby Mustang. And this little trailer they keep looping on IMDb makes it look very, very fun. A 70s style series.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably more fun than this movie. Not that it was a shit show,
Probably,
but First one's better, and I'm not thrilled with the first one.
It'd probably be better if Steve McQueen was in it. But
true. In general.
About Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Too Fast, Too Furious would probably be better with Steve McQueen as well.
Everything would be better with Steve McQueen.
Absolutely. Are we ready for Super Mario Brothers?
Just how every movie would be better. Yeah, just how every movie would be better with Lee Martin.
Well, of course. Yeah. Only if he does a musical number.
Bronson.
Charles Bronson definitely needs to do the musical number.
To be like the Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
I guess I just want every movie to be like the original Dirty Dozen.
Sure. Okay. Well,
have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I know what my next pick's going to be.
Well, I mean, I know a movie that's exactly like The Dirty Dozen. Super Mario Bros.
No, it's not.
No?
No, it's not.
No? I thought it was like the same movie.
Oh, man. No, usually I back anything that, I usually got your back, man, but not on this one.
Are you serious? I'm pretty sure it's like the same movie. It was like a remake. They're like remaking the Dirty Dozen.
Well, they're missing. Well, first of all, they're missing 10 people. So that's just tip of the iceberg there.
Details. I mean, they got Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. They figure that's essentially a dozen people, right?
Yeah. So this movie,
it was so good. Like, why didn't they do a sequel to this? This was a good movie.
I remember this coming out 20 years ago.
I do remember that.
I remember this coming out 20 years ago.
30.
And I also remember... Oh my god, you're right, it is 30.
Mm-hmm.
It was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I remember being a little excited for this.
Yeah, I was too. I saw the pictures in Nintendo Power and went, ooh!
And I remember enjoying it, thinking it's going to be like a gritty, dark, adult-style retelling of Mario, based off of that poster alone.
Yeah. Well, I think...
I remember as a kid I enjoyed it. As an adult, I can just laugh at the silliness of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. Like, this was a couple years after that Ninja Turtles 1990. And that was like a surprisingly good movie that somehow mixed the adult tones of the comic book with the cartoon and did it kind of seamlessly. That movie's not perfect, but it's pretty fucking good.
And did it very well, I'd like to add. Too.
Yes. That's not what this movie does. If you're going to ask me what this movie does, I actually don't know what this movie does. This is a weird movie.
It exists, Bob.
Yeah.
It exists.
I will say I enjoyed this more than Dungeons & Dragons last week. I will give it that much. I know that's a low bar, but...
Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot more than Dungeons & Dragons last week.
I know, that's a low goddamn bar. Yeah.
it is a low bar, but yes. This movie was... Well, this, like most good things, obviously has studio meddling and production meddling. I know that they switched directors a few times during production alone.
Oh, wow. That's never a good sign. Occasionally you can get away with that and it'll be okay, but that's not usually great. And as far as switching writers, that depends how late in the game you're doing it. Like, if you're doing it mid-production, you're in fucking trouble.
On set.
Oh, switching writers on set? Yeah. That's really and fucking bad.
On set.
Yeah, the switching directors.
Yeah, I do know, along with, like... oh my god. Oh, sorry, I misread that. I know along with all the production and studio meddling and what have you and switching with directors, they did go with a first-time pair of writers and directors. A husband and wife duo, actually, for their first rounds of everything. It was the first time that they've ever been tasked to do it, so this was their first endeavor as it. And we see how that worked out for them. I do know, I've read, and I've seen in interviews with John Leguizamo, where he said, with all the trouble and everything, he had learned so much about the craft of acting just through hanging out with Bob Hoskins the whole time. At some point, Bob got so fed up with everything that he just made it his point to be drunk every day on set.
Oh, God.
He and John got hammered every day on set. And a good example, there is a part where they're drunk, and it made it to the movie.
Really?
Which part?
Which one?
Very early on in the film.
Oh, was it when they're in the apartment? I think.
Just after that, actually.
What, when they're driving around?
Big van.
Oh,
John
is that it?
Plastered.
Oh, God.
Plastered in that scene.
There is.
I've heard him talk how he's like, I'm fucking hammered in that scene. And it's like, oh, John. Oh.
That's the thing. That's how you know these guys are talented actors. Because there's a degree of not giving a fuck that they have in this movie, but also like they appear to be like it's still not the worst performance ever, even though they're not giving a fuck. So I will give them credit.
They both gave great performances.
Yeah,
they both gave great.
Mario's like more the world weary type, and Luigi's a bit more the naive. Oh, let's do this, let's do that, and it works well enough.
I know that one of the first screenplays written for it was written by Oscar-winning screenwriter Barry Morrow. His story followed the brothers of Mario and Luigi on an existential road trip, so similar to his prior film Rain Man. And they titled the script Drain Man. Morrow describes the screenplay as a study in contrast like Laurel and Hardy or Abbott and Costello.
What?
That would have an odyssey and a quest.
Well, I think it's interesting you brought up how this is the first time directors on this movie, because isn't the only movie that we were covering this week that has first time directors. John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein were first time directors on the Dungeons and Dragons movies this week, and that's impressive. First time director, yeah, first time director duos. And then let me look up the names of who directed this, because this is not as impressive. But that being said, like, Okay, so it's Annabelle Jenkins and Rocky Morton. And, like, obviously they're probably changing. Like, it's hard to even blame any creative person who's behind this movie. Because if they're changing people, like, mid-shoot, then, like, we're getting nobody's creative vision. At no point is this anybody's creative vision other than some studio head, maybe. And it...
Well, I do know that the creators, or like the heads at Nintendo and Mario, also had a firm grasp on what it was going to be. Like they kind of had the final say, but they also wanted it to appeal to a new generation and try and get more kids to, buy Nintendos and play Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, this is well, I mean, Sonic was probably a big deal at this point, so they're probably like trying to reach a new audience, at least with that. This wasn't it, man. This is so what? God, I'm having trouble even going over it. Yeah, the story is so out there. So first of all, like Mario and Luigi are these plumbers, and they're having trouble getting work, and then they get a job, and then they race there, but unfortunately, the competing plumbers beat them there. And my daughter and I were really trying to understand this. So like, if you need plumbing work, what do? You call all the plumbers in the area, and whoever gets there first gets to do the job? We're really confused by this. Oh, is that how it works?
You've never done that? Like,
okay.
Yeah, you've never ordered like two. Like, it's just like when you and somebody else both order like one from Uber Eats and one from DoorDash. You make them compete.
Yeah, whoever gets there first wins. I'm sorry, you lost. I'm sorry. No,
I'm sorry. You didn't make the grade today.
Yeah, no, it's so bizarre. And the other thing is, so like Luigi meets Daisy, and I do think it's interesting they went with Princess Daisy here instead of Peach. I guess Peach wasn't really a name you could get away with, but I don't know. It's just weird because Peach is like the main princess, and Daisy's from Super Mario Land. She's like the secondary princess. But okay,
yeah.
Luigi meets not Peach, but Daisy. He gets a crush on her, and then she takes him down to like some dinosaur bones. Which, hey, I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty cool spot to take a date. But that's pretty awesome. But especially if they're also into it too, like Luigi was. Yeah, but then like the competing plumbers are in the other room coincidentally, and they're flooding the place for reasons. Like it's like, so wait, are they working for Bowser? And it's like, no, there's nothing like that. It's just they're doing this to progress the story. They're just fucking with the pipes nearby.
That's all.
Yeah, for no reason. It's like, oh, this guy's having a date. Oh, it's going pretty well. Let's fuck with it. Do you guys have nothing better to do?
Well, they're no good nicks,
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But
also, the guy who played Toad is actually a musician, like a legit musician.
I'm trying. Like, I remember Toad, and yeah, it's like he's in there for like a moment, and then he's turned into a Goomba, or this movie's version of Goomba, which is a weird Mojo Nixon. That's a familiar name.
Yeah, Mojo Nixon. That's him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He does lots of soundtrack
like
stuff. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now, he does a lot of soundtrack stuff. It's kind of... He has an impressive body of work, but this is a very rare, film appearance by him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, his...
Fun little fact. Also... Oh.
I was just going to say, his IMDb, I don't know how I can see it, but his IMDb picture is just him in the Goomba form. Goombas are weird here. They're just essentially giant people with tiny lizard heads.
Very weird.
It's like that doesn't look remotely what I'd visualize a Goomba as, and I don't know, maybe don't do that. If you can't do something kind of reminiscent to a video game, I don't know, maybe just don't do it.
Well, I think the only stuff that really resembled anything from the games was the Babam.
Yeah.
And that quick CG shot of Bowser when he was de-evolving.
Yeah.
Back into alien form. But it's like the last shot that they show of him, and then they cut away. and then it's all CGI after that. But like that last shot of what looked like a practical effect, that's the closest I think we get to a Bowser.
Well,
Which is still nice.
I mean, for the third act is fun. I'm losing my mind talking about this. But anyways, for the third act, Mario and Luigi do get their appropriate colored overalls that Mario just pulls from a random locker, and it's like, oh, let's wear these for some reason. But yeah, I think it's interesting throughout this movie. Like, the easiest thing would be to essentially give Mario a red color scheme and Luigi a green color scheme. And they can't even quite pull that one off. Because, like, at the beginning, Mario has a red color scheme, and Luigi has a red color scheme. So it's like, okay. And then they get dressed up for, like, the club to look fancy for the club. And for that, Luigi has a red color scheme, and Mario has a yellow color scheme, which, I mean, okay, maybe if you can only get red and yellow, maybe just match the red to the guy who's supposed to wear red. I don't even understand this anymore.
No,
but eventually we get to the proper color scheme.
Like, done something small, like
yeah,
with that aesthetic, like they would have had a suit already there for both of them. Yeah, sure, that would have been a very nice touch to it.
Yeah,
but they decided to go against it, and instead they're just going to play it safe next round and just make it all CGI.
Yeah, which is probably what they should do. But I thought it was so weird because the easiest thing they could have done, like right at the beginning. So Mario has a red color scheme, so fine, you got it, good. And then, like, the only colorful thing Luigi's wearing is that red pullover. And it's like, why didn't you give him a green pullover? Like, that is so simple. Just give him a green pullover and boom. Ugh.
Well, even if, like, there was even a part where, Mario had this, like, kind of like a members-only jacket sort of thing, like a big, like, windbreaker that was kind of a shade of green.
Yeah.
And it's like...
That's right, I forgot about that. It's like, they keep on, like, it's so simple, and, like, this is, like, basic stuff they could be doing, and they're not doing it. It's a little infuriating. But... Yeah.
We should talk about Dennis Hopper's performance in this, too.
Oh, was Dennis Hopper in this?
Yeah.
No, Dennis Hopper was probably awesome in this, Yeah, he was kind of channeling Jeremy Irons a bit. Yeah, he was having fun with this.
He was also team chewing too, but
yeah,
it's still good.
Yeah, no, he's probably the one of the highlights. Not that he saves the movie. The movie is awful, but he does have some fun with this. Like, I think, I think you brought up. I think it was before we were recording. How he evolves he drags out his S's a bit.
Yes. Yeah, he kind of does it to kind of give it like a snake sound. So, I mean, it kind of comes and goes, but when he hits it, you really hear it, and I think it's a great choice and a very nice touch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nice to know somebody cared, and that's the thing. Like, I do feel like maybe a lot of the budget of this movie went to casting, because Bob Hoskins and Dennis Hopper were pretty big names at this point. John Leguizamo's, like, noteworthy, but he's kind of getting started, too. Like, I'm not sure how big he was at this point.
He was very much like an up-and-comer.
Yeah.
An up-and-comer, and probably definitely more known for, like, his stand-up comedy at that point.
And then, Samantha Mathis had kind of a career after this. And then...
Yeah.
Fisher Stevens, who's a fairly famous director now. He's got some noteworthy acting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
No, like,
he's great.
The on-screen talent here is impressive. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like, they can't...
Unfortunately, yeah.
Like, so it's like, okay, so in Mario, he travels down a pipe, and he ends up in this fantasy world where he fights Goombas and Koopa Troopas and all this weird shit, and he jumps on them to kill them. It's weird shit. And here, he travels through a portal in a wall to a parallel dimension that was created when the asteroid hit the Earth to kill off the dinosaurs, except it didn't kill them off, and they were portaled to a parallel dimension, and they evolved to something that looks exactly like humans for some reason. And they're complaining about water shortage, and all they have is mud, but yet they can still get super clean. So, They obviously do have a workaround, so I don't even know why they're really missing it. But yeah. So Daisy has like
getting that brilliant nerve. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the whole like I guess MacGuffin of the thing is Daisy having that necklace. I guess not MacGuffin, but it's what they're all after, and it does kind of serve a plot point. But yeah, Daisy has a necklace that she's
not quite
born. Yeah, and they have to insert it into this asteroid to merge the worlds, which don't merge. I don't know. There's a point in this movie where it's like I'm giving up on this story. This is dumb. Oh yeah, and Daisy's father is fungus that helps them throughout the movie. We're going for gritty realism here. Yes.
Fungus among us.
Yes.
Fungus among us.
Yeah, it's not quite like the fungus in Last of Us, unfortunately, but a much better video game adaptation, I might add, as well.
Yeah. This movie, it's bad, but it's not as bad as I think. It just has a bad rap. Like, it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
I don't know. I think it's pretty bad.
I mean,
but, like,
obviously,
it's not the worst thing ever at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Dungeons and Dragons 2000.
No, it's not.
By far, I think that's probably the worst show that we've ever movie that we've ever talked about on the show.
Yeah, no, that it might be. I'd have to look over it because we've talked about some stinkers, but like, there's like almost nothing redeeming.
Well, Samurai Cop was at least enjoyable.
Oh, I enjoy Samurai Cop. I enjoy Samurai Cop, but yeah, Samurai Cops is dumb though. Like, you can have a lot of fun with Samurai Cop. Dungeons and Dragons, once you get over the joke of the bad CGI, it just keeps on hitting you over the head with it. It's like, we already laughed about it. Can we move on? Yeah. And this one...
Yeah, we've already laughed about how bad that was. We're going to see it again. Okay,
yeah.
Here it is. This one doesn't really shove a lot of the bad CGI. And with this, though, like, they were creative with the world.
Yeah, there's lots of...
They made the dystopian, like, world. Like, like the police cars, how they kind of almost look like, junkyard cars almost.
The underground world was reminding me a lot of the underground world in Demolition Man. A significantly better movie. Like, not even close. But yeah, it was very lots of vibes from that.
Such a better movie.
Oh yeah, shoot, Demolition Man's awesome. We should probably do that one sometime. But yeah, shit.
Yeah, or we could do Last Action Hero.
That could be fun too. But yeah, there's lots of vibes from better movies here. Dungeons and Dragons 2000 had lots of bad CGI. There's bad CGI here, but the movie doesn't depend on it. So it's lots of practical effects. So I will give it credit for that, but that only gets it so far.
And Yoshi was all practical effects.
Yeah.
It took 7 puppeteers to operate Yoshi. 7 puppeteers.
And I almost forgot Yoshi was in this.
So cool.
That's
so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't do anything, but yeah, Yoshi's in it. That's cool.
He almost eats that one woman, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted him to eat her. It was just like he started eating her. It's like,
yeah,
do it. I want to see Yoshi just eat a human being, just alive. Just do it. That would be kind of
good
hilarious.
Dinosaur.
Yeah. No, it's not the worst movie we've ever covered. It's definitely bottom tier. It's not good at all, but it's bad. Like, again, this is one of those movies where, like, if next week's Super Mario Brothers movie is worse than this, it's an achievement. And here's what I'll say about the movie, next week's Super Mario Brothers movie. The trailers are okay, but I noticed they're very sparing on Chris Pratt's voice in those trailers. And we know Chris Pratt has to be very prominent in those trailers. And I don't see him pulling off a good Mario voice. Maybe if he does it with just no accent. But I am pretty sure he goes for the accent from a little bit I've heard. So, we will have to see. I will say I'm not looking forward to that. Because that one, I hope it's good. I know my son's excited for it. So... Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not either. I think it kind of looked like a stinker right when it came out. So.
Yes. Well, I mean,
And I don't know. I don't know. I just I don't. I kind of look when I heard about they were going to be making it. My first thought wasn't, oh, all right, Mario movie
Yeah.
or anything. It was just more, why?
Mm-hmm. I mean, this one was so great, so let's try again. No, I think CGI is probably the best route for it, but yeah, we'll see. I guess we're. Is there anything you want to talk about Mario Brothers? This one before we go on to talk about next week's movies.
No.
Okay.
No, I just the production issues is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay. Well, yes.
But we think.
George popped in and he wanted to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and Mario a bit. So, yeah, I think that works. So, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. What do you think, George?
I really enjoyed it. I thought I went in with really no expectations whatsoever. Of course, off the heels of having watched the
that's where I was.
Was it 1999 or 2000?
2000.
Oh, that was 2000.
23 years ago.
So, some big name actors in it. So I kind of had a little bit of an inkling that it will probably be a better production than the original. But no, I mean, I thought it was really good. From a structure point, kind of had kind of a predictable storyline, but the characters were really good. It was just in general, if you're not like a super knowledgeable person about Dungeons and Dragons, this is still a really good fun fantasy movie.
Yeah, if you don't know the nuances of what they're doing with the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, you'll still enjoy this. But like I thought it was interesting looking at who gets charisma points. Kind of just you could tell just how they're separating out points to these characters, but it still works even if you don't know they're doing that.
Yeah, right.
I will say that this did kind of make me want to play a game. Like, and I maybe haven't played in 10 years, but I was like, kind of want to get a game playing now. For me, I'm not even that familiar with D&D, so like you said, I kind of agree with your point, George, because I'm not that well versed with the ins and outs of it, but I still enjoyed the movie, even enough to be like, I'm gonna pick up some dice.
Yeah. Well, no, that's
yeah.
I haven't done like a formal D&D game for probably like 20 years, where it's like multiple days a campaign. It might be closer to 15 actually, but
yeah.
But yeah, the like I have these little board games that like you just choose an adventure and you play D&D for like one night. And those are fun, and that that'll give you a kind of basic idea of the rules and stuff like that. But yeah,
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, well, it's kind of structured so that you can just choose a random adventure and just do that for the night. Or if you want to turn it into a campaign, you can just do there's 9 adventures in each set, so you can just do one after the other and just kind of do this whole story. So, it's kind of up to you how you want to play it. But it's a lot easier with a family to kind of be a bit more sporadic with it. But I like I said earlier, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm looking forward to picking up a home video copy, honestly, and I hope rewatch.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I think box office wise, something I didn't bring up. I think this movie's gonna have decent legs. We'll see. I won't surprise me if it's kind of like the original Guardians of the Galaxy, where I think it's getting lots of good word of mouth, and I think that will spread. I know Shazam 2, I thought maybe, I don't know, I was a bit more doubtful for that one. Because I did enjoy it, but it opened really low. And I was hoping maybe it'd have some legs, but it clearly doesn't. It's going to fizzle out quickly. And I think Dungeons & Dragons might do okay on its legs, at least. Its big competition next week is Super Mario Brothers, the movie. And while there's going to be lots of overlap in that audience, it's not going to be identical. So it might do pretty well next week. I think the bit more teenage and grown up audience will probably enjoy this quite a bit more than that, or at least be a bit more appealed to that. But yeah, anything you want to add, George, before we go on to Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, my favorite character was Doric. Is it the druid?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, she was my favorite too. Actually,
yeah, she was cool. I really liked her. And yeah, I thought
Snow
yeah. I kind of dug Simon, but yeah.
Well, I like what they did with like kind of like the spell type things in the movie. Like the art direction was really cool. Whenever they did spells, there was something interesting about it. It wasn't just like, you know what, especially again calling back to like Portal the game, but it was still really cool. I really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, are we ready for Super Mario Bros?
One thing, Chain. One thing I wanted to. Happy George had mentioned it. It was the score in Dungeons and Dragons, because I really did enjoy that.
Yeah,
I did too.
I don't know if either of you picked, but every scene that was in a tavern, you heard like medieval tavern music. Like I really dug that part of it, because I as a musician, I'm sure George you could relate to this. I find it fun to look at instruments that we really don't see every day, like a loon, for example. And to see that, I mean, I kind of want more like, can we have more shots of the instrument, please? Like a very detailed, like 5-minute just panning of it. Because like it looked like the frets were divots, and I mean, I was sitting in the theater going, I know I should be paying attention to the plot, but how do you play that thing?
Yeah.
Where can I find one?
I want one.
What is the tuning? Yeah, pretty much. I want one. I want one. Ooh, it hit people with it.
Yeah.
And no, good call out on the score. The score was really good.
Yeah, we didn't mention that last time, so yeah, I remember enjoying the score quite a bit as well. Yeah.
I'm happy you popped in here, George.
Yeah. The music guys get to figure stuff out.
Yeah. And then I just go on my music guy, and George and I talk music for hours.
Yeah. Well, what do you got?
Know who. Lauren Balfe. Lauren Balfe.
Okay.
Known for his Dark Materials.
Okay.
Wheel of Time.
TV series stuff, it sounds like.
TV, yeah, Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Black Widow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool.
Yeah. Well, definitely with Wheel of Time and his Dark Materials, they're definitely kind of used to the fantasy genre for sure. So this is
yeah.
But speaking of great scores, we also have Super Mario Bros. From 1993 to talk about, which had an amazing score, right? Right?
Well, actually, I'm happy. This is actually the perfect segue to it, because I did notice one theme that they kept playing throughout the entire movie, and it's usually whenever they were traveling or on their way to go to something. I've heard it in other movies.
Yeah.
Maybe they use some stock material.
Like, I think it was stock. Like, a lot of it. And then I started listening to more and going, okay, that's the same stock song. They use the same song a few times over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's more so like, I think I've heard it in countless trailers, too.
Yeah.
But kind of a
just something the studio owned in the library.
Movie, yeah, like kind of like a moving, whimsical-y like sound. But hearing it going, now I've heard this before. Like, but I can't tell where, but I know I've heard it before, and many times. Oh, but yes, Super Mario Brothers.
I think I have the same opinion of the movie that I did when it came out. And I think I was only like, 10, 11 when it came out? My nostalgia hasn't helped my opinion on it. It's...
No,
it's...
I will say, though, it's a good contender for Bad Movie Night. If you have some friends over for, drinks, snacks, whatever, it's a great Bad Movie Night movie.
Oh,
No.
it is a perfect bad movie night movie.
Yeah.
No, we've done 2 bad movie night movies in a row, and like both Bobby and I agreed. I don't know if you agree, George, but like I would choose this over Dungeons and Dragons 2000. Like,
Oh
this
yeah.
is definitely
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
better,
totally.
which is weird.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
yeah. It's
Yes.
that is such a low bar, but it's like
I
this.
mean-
This is way more entertaining. Entertaining.
Well, entertaining
what
in the
I find-
sense where you look at it and you're like, "What the fuck? That's
Yeah.
a Goomba."
Yeah,
Or
that's a Goomba. Yes.
Bowser
It's just
is
more of like, that's Toad?
Yeah.
Okay.
What were they thinking with that?
Yeah,
Okay, my
Goomba's a
favorite-
giant person with a little reptile head. That's what Goomba is, right?
Sure.
I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure Big Bertha is that the name of the character?
Yes,
Lady.
that is the name
Yeah,
of the
her. I
character.
don't think it's Big Bertha. I think they just call her Bertha in that. But yeah.
No, they
That's
refer to
the-
her as Big Bertha.
They do call her
did.
Big
It was,
Bertha.
Iggy.
Oh,
It was. She's the
Okay.
bouncer of the Boom Boom Room. It was Big
God.
Bertha. She's the bouncer of the Boom Boom Room. And I
God.
In the
remember that
game,
line
it's
just
the
so weird.
it's the giant fish in Mario 3
Yeah.
with Big Bertha.
Yeah.
Just wow. Just
Yeah.
wow. Don't have much to say.
Or
except-
unrelated, a brand of table foods. Bertha.
yeah. It's
I
almost
think
like
the
this
only
movie's
thing
bad.
that was even
You think?
is maybe the Bob-omb was the most like in-universe accurate thing in the movie.
True. Although even the
Nice.
size was off. I would expect the bomb to be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
There's those little ones, like in Super Mario Brothers, which I believe had just come out at this time on the Super Nintendo, which, in my opinion, is the best Mario game ever made.
Super Mario World? Yeah,
Yeah,
it
we
probably
could-
is. I
Yeah,
love Mario
yeah.
Brothers 3, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I
It's
know-
a toss-up for me.
Yeah.
It's better than 2.
Yeah. 2 has
F that
warmed
game.
me over
Any
time,
version of
but
2.
yeah. Yeah. 2.
But
2 was always the
2
weird
has the
one.
greatest character selection. It has the
True.
greatest character selection, but the worst game.
Yeah. I have my mixed feelings about 2. It's
the
grown
movie.
with me, yeah, but
The
yeah.
movie is. Yeah, the movie.
2 is a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
is a fun game.
That for me,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
funny,
remember
was
the first time
playing,
I was just gonna say the first time I played 2, I was
Yeah.
so disappointed because it was so different than what I was expecting. And then like when you go into it expecting it, then it's like, oh, well, this isn't great, but it's okay.
A while back, I was babysitting my nephew, and he has like a Switch, so he has like that Mario game where you can access all the Mario games.
hmm
And he was
Mhm.
telling me that he has it. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, bud." So you could like play the games that like your parents and I would play when we were your age and stuff. Yeah, but I never played them before. Why? They're old. I go, well, have you ever tried?
mm
Which one, if I were to play one, should I play? Me thinking, should I be a good babysitter and start them off nice, or just be evil? You should play 2.
No God.
Mhm.
It's like,
Why
this
would
is
you
like-
do
it's
that?
like, he's like, well, first he's like, well, which game did you not like the worst? Like you hated? I was like I hated? Oh, 2, easy. He fires
2 is
up
the
and I'm-
hardest.
Yeah, 2 is the hardest.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him it's the hardest
Yeah.
game. If you want fun, 3. And he got frustrated with 3, so then we played 2.
hmm
He got, and then we went back to 3, and then he had fun with 3. But 2, yeah, he was like, I see why you say this is the worst game. I went, yeah, that's right, buddy.
It's not Zelda 2 frustrating though.
Oh
True.
no, he's not. He's not in Zelda yet. But when he does, I think I might introduce him to Ocarina of Time.
Hell,
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah,
the
have some
original.
fun with that one, bud.
The original the original Ninja Turtles game, that fucking jump in the third level, that is so frustrating.
Oh, Turtles.
You spend hours with it until you realize you can just walk
Yeah.
over it. Fucking
Yeah.
Yeah, the water
Awful.
level is what
Evil.
fucked me up on that
the
one.
water levels, level
water
2. That one sucks too. It's like you have to get
Yeah.
through this without dying,
Hey.
without touching any of the seaweed, and you touch seaweed all the fucking time. Oh no.
Or that part
Did
where
buy
there's, like,
the-
the most narrowest pass that's all seaweed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That game sucks.
I bought the Cowabunga collection,
So did I.
okay.
which of course has save. So it has save states. So I'm going to make an attempt to play through the game using save states.
Yeah, I
So,
gave
I
up.
have
I
not-
wanted to do that,
I've-
but no.
So I had downloaded the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge. Which
That's
is like
fun.
Was that-
Yeah.
To
I haven't got that
Turtles
one
in
yet.
Time.
Girls in
You
Time.
You start it up. You start it up, and it's just like instant. Like I believe I'm playing the next game.
Yeah.
In that series.
It feels like the
It's
natural
like, oh,
successor
fuck
to
yeah,
Turtles
let's
in
go.
Time. It has great
Yeah.
character selection.
It
like
almost
so,
yeah.
you get the 4 turtles,
right out of
and
the
then
gate.
you get Casey, April, and Splinter as well, which is awesome.
Oh,
Mm.
nice.
Mess around.
Yeah,
AC don't mess around.
yeah,
Yeah, and you start that up, and it feels like you're just firing up the '89 television series. Just how it starts, like you get that sort of amped, or at least I did, because I loved the show as a kid.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, oh, speaking of Turtles, have you guys seen the ads for the new Turtles movie coming out?
Yeah.
Turtles.
It looks like fun to
Yes.
me. I'm actually kind of excited for it.
The animation style is interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different, but I think
It
it looks
kinda-
kind of cool. Yeah.
It kind of has like the scratch pad
Mm-hmm.
look.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember it. It kind of starts off as like a black material, and you scratch, and there's
Yeah.
colors underneath, and it's all random.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. and
So,
there's some-
yeah.
And there's some sheets of it how they have like a reflective surface, like kind of almost like an aluminum shiny surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah.
But we did.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. So, like, the early trailers for the Dungeons and Dragons movie this week were good. I watched those and went, oh, this looks like fun.
Yeah.
I have a bad memory from the last Dungeons and Dragons movie, but this looks like fun. The early trailers for Super Mario Brothers movie, I mean, aesthetically, it's got the look down, but nothing has really thrilled me. I've not looked at it and been like, oh, that looks like fun. Maybe it will be.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling it's going to be a lot like the Trolls movies.
Mhm.
Not the good Trolls movies, but like the little collectible ones, the kids
The-
movies. Not the good Troll
I
movies.
haven't seen those ones, but yeah, well, it's Illumination Studios doing the Mario movie now, and Illumination Studios is they're the lesser of the animation studios in my book. You get your Pixar, you get your DreamWorks, and they're awesome, and then you get Illumination, which I don't know. I think the Despicable Me movies are predictable but fine, but like outside of that, I've not been a fan of anything, including the Minions spin-off movies. Yeah, so I'm not.
Made a Minions movie.
They've made 2 Minions movies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because they make money. That's why. But yeah, like,
Oh.
and even the Despicable Me movies don't thrill me. It's like, okay, fine. I mean, I'll be blunt. I actually enjoy Megamind more than the first Despicable Me. So, yeah.
Yeah, Megamind wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Megamind wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed that.
Mhm.
But I find that, like, especially with Pixar and Pixar in general,
Mhm.
that they have this habit of like making a lot of human characters look very similar.
Yeah.
And if you look at like when they do animals and stuff, they also look very similar to the humans. So
hmm
I understand that this is kind of the new way to do animation and
Mhm.
everything, but for me, I think hand drawn just has way more character to it.
I miss hand-drawn
Way
animation.
more character.
Listen, John Lasseter.
It has way more.
John Lasseter, piece of shit.
Alex
Yes.
Bansky.
But he was the one that came out and said, when Disney bought Pixar, he pushed hard and said, hey, listen, you own Pixar. Pixar should continue doing computer-generated animation because that's what they do. And since you own Pixar, for your own animation, for Disney animation, you guys should stick to hand-drawn. And I wish they'd taken his advice, because now, like, you get Disney animated movies and Pixar animated movies, and they're pretty interchangeable. You know, they're decent, they're pretty good, but it's like, visually, they're like the same thing.
They still look the fucking same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
they look the fucking same. Like, it's not like when you could look at an old Disney animated movie and tell it's a Disney, just by the art style, the animation style, and it just has that key. And that's probably why all those characters look the same. At least they do to me.
Yeah.
But that's probably why they're trying to have that signature look, that Pixar look, that Disney look. But that's just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't dig it.
Yeah.
I just think hand drawn has way more character to it.
You know, and Pixar is probably the studio I blame the least for it, because they're the ones that came out with the computer animated idea, period. And, you know, and they did great movies, and they still do great movies. Their track record isn't as spotless as it once was, but they still do great movies. But yeah, obviously,
the first few that they did, like, I think the first 5 they did were all, like, out of the park. Like, what, Toy Story?
Well, I mean, Toy Story was great. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Bug's Life, but it's fine. And Cars don't thrill me, but they're fine. Cars 2 sucks, but the other ones are fine. But like, they have a couple that knocked out of the park for me. I love WALL-E. I love Up. Up is like my favorite still.
Up is a great movie.
Even recently, you have like Coco, which is fantastic. What was it? The one with the emotions. Is that called Inside Out? That one was fucking good.
I think it is Inside Out.
Yeah, that one's really good. Yeah, no, Pixar's really good at it. And the Disney stuff is decent. Like, Tangled's fun. Like, that's the thing. Like, Tangled and Frozen. I wasn't as big into Frozen 2. But Frozen's good. But that's the thing. Like, when I look at a Disney movie and a Pixar movie now, they look about the same. The biggest difference will be usually the Disney stuff involves a princess of some type. And usually the Pixar stuff is better. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest difference I've noticed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you kind of steer away from the princess stories, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or even that one that we watched, Outer World. That was
Brave World. Yeah, that was fun.
Bad.
Yeah,
Brave World.
That
wasn't bad.
Yeah, that was a Disney one. That was Disney, not Pixar. So it's good, but that's kind of the difference.
But
Disney ones are good.
But if
Pixar's great.
If you showed me it. Yeah, but if you showed me it still, I couldn't tell you if it came from Pixar.
No, they both visually look absolutely stunning now. Visually, they look stunning and beautiful, and I can't tell you a difference. I do miss hand-drawn animation. There should be more of it. But that's the world we have right now.
Oh yeah, I don't even care if they reuse. The same animation cells. I'm looking at you, Jungle Book and Robin Hood.
Yeah, but next week we got the Super Mario Brothers movie. We got Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. I hope that one's as fun as I remember.
Ooh.
Army of Darkness next week.
So I have like the director's cut of that. So.
I think I have like a steelbook, and I think it has like at least 2 or 3 versions of it. Is there only 2? I thought there's multiple versions of it. I don't know. It has at least 2 versions.
There are 2.
Well, I'm pretty sure the 2 are fairly identical except for the ending, isn't it? There's probably some minor differences, but the ending's the biggest difference. But yeah, we can do the director's cut, and maybe I'll do a little bit talking about the theatrical cut. But yeah, I can
talk about the theatrical too, because it features Bridget Fonda.
Well, Bridget Fonda's in the director's cut as well. Because she's in the beginning.
She's in the beginning.
Yeah.
But not at the end. Yeah.
Is she in the end? I don't remember.
No, she's Linda in that.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll be fun to talk about. Because
what happens to Linda as soon as they go to the...
Really? What happens to Linda? I've not seen it at least twice over.
She died.
No! What? Linda's my favorite character in the entire franchise. How could she die?
Well, I mean, she doesn't have as bad of a fate as Cheryl, so...
Well, I guess the disadvantage, though, Linda's fate keeps on happening over and over again to multiple actresses.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will be next week. But yeah, anything you want to promote before we sign out?
No, I'm good right now.
Yeah, I think I'm good as well. Initiatives. Oh yeah, Phantom Initiative stream has been right now. The rough plan is to do that on Thursday instead of Wednesday, so that'll be Thursday 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Since Wednesday's opened up, I might do a solo stream or I might just take a day off. I haven't decided, but yeah, Phantom Initiative will be Thursday this week, so that's the biggest announcement I have. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, like and subscribe to Bobby Quarters, like and subscribe to Organized Chaos, like and subscribe to Phantom Initiative, all that stuff. And yeah, everyone have a good one.
Take it easy.
I don't. My hand was holding my coffee. I can't.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.